segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The central bank's latest quarterly economic and financial report is out, and according to Governor John Roll, overall indicators that continue to show a strengthening in the local economy, largely attributed to the continued success of the tourism sector. Now, while the vacation rental market is said to be strong, improvement in the hotel segment was one of the most dominant factors because of the increase in hotel rooms and the successful selling of those rooms. The governor added that a steady, modest flow of foreign investments is also providing economic stimulus, particularly through construction, with much of it occurring in the tourism sector, in resort and residential facilities, and in cruise line attractions.
The foreign exchange sector activities just mentioned have had positive impact on financial sector indicators and the strength of the Bahamas' external reserves. Seasonal growth in the reserves in the first half of 2019 was at double the pace of gains recorded in the first half of 2018. At the end of June, the external reserves were just above $1.5 billion, which was very close to the same levels as were recorded at this point in 2018.
And while it's expected that tourism's growth will continue next year, signs show that at a slower pace, as hotel room inventories will not increase by the same degree as last year. According to Mr. Rowe, growth needed for the industry is growth focused on getting visitors to come to the country to spend more money.
Ultimately, over the longer term, you're going to expect some of your growth to be tied to some continuous growth in capacity, but manageable growth in capacity, because you got to deliver the product up to a certain quality standard, so you got to make sure that you have the people to train and deliver the service at the competitive standards. And if you try to pace growth in rooms too fast ahead of how you're preparing your people to deliver the services, it won't work in terms of being sustainable. So the Bahamas has to manage that, but at the same time recognize that there is a lot of scope to increase the return to tourism.
Overall, beyond present risk of hurricanes, uncertainties from ongoing international trade disputes, and what's on the horizon for Europe and the Brexit challenges, the economy is expected to continue to grow over the next few years.
Our domestic banking sector will continue to experience high levels of liquidity, and the foreign reserves of the central bank are expected to continue to experience year-on-year growth, but at a mild pace. When the medium-term credit delinquency rates are taken into account, the banking sector is only expected to begin to recover its total lending to the private sector at a gradual pace. Taking this assessment into account, the central bank has decided to maintain its accommodating posture for private sector credit growth.
Police releasing an artist rendering of an armed robbery suspect, no name or address given, but authorities have pegged his age to between 35 and 45 years. The suspect's also said to be dark-skinned, between 5'10" and 6 feet tall, and medium built. Anyone with information should call into 502-9991 or 2, or the police emergency line at 911 or 919. Grand Bahama pastors get schooled on the benefits of decriminalizing marijuana, and preaching the message was one of their own. Co-chair of the Marijuana Commission, Bishop Simeon Hall. Bishop Hall telling us the group was receptive.
If this herb can help us, then we should move forward in that direction. The challenge is human beings corrupt everything they touch. The purest of situation in the Garden of Eden, with all they had no work, they had no labor, they had nothing, but they messed it up. Human beings have a propensity to destroy things that are pure. And so, how will we regulate this? How will we not abuse it? How will we stop those young men and women who want it just for recreational challenges? Those are all impediments we will face. But at the same time, can we help the woman who is dying of cancer today?
Now, Bishop Hall makes no secret of his support of the medicinal use of marijuana, as in the case, he said, of those who are ill but who cannot afford the necessary health care.
The first pastor to speak stood up and said, I am for medicinal marijuana. And that set the case. We had one person who had some reservation, but in the end, he himself, they all came around that, look, let's move forward, not hastily, with caution. Let's move forward with caution, but let's move forward. And two words came forward: regularization and decriminalization. How are we going to regularize this?
The Marijuana Commission recently requested an extension to its deadline to submit a report on its findings. The commission was to head overseas on a fact-finding mission to Jamaica and Canada. The idea is to gather as much information to continue their study regarding all things related to the controversial herb. Our final stories are up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.